show 39, airing Saturday the 5th of July in Australia. You guys will still be on the 4th of July, if you're in the USA. Okay, Yah has prepared another PowerPoint. It's all rather marvellous. The miracle's coming this week. As he was hoping to go into retirement, it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier, deeper and deeper. And I'm doing a screen capture as well. Can you just turn that around for a minute, the screen, so I can see what's going on? And okay, all good. You know, I have to go and get another pair of those tiger frame glasses and the leopard prints from. I really like those. They didn't last very long though, did they?
No.
$3.95 Flash Harrys. Let's move right along here.
Quick plug there.
A quick plug for Flash Harrys. All right, what's Yah got? In this presentation, I'll explain the dragon. Now, everybody, when I'm saying I, you know, I'm speaking on behalf of the Christ, and when he says I, it's all about me. As he needs to explain. It's all right, it's us. And look, okay, just as well, keep the current colour scheme and don't show this message again. I click that every time, and yet it keeps coming up. All right, starting right again. In this presentation, I will explain the dragon and how it is identified by the verses of the Torah numbers. Torah, Numbers, that's the chapter, Deuteronomy, Leviticus and Exodus. 1404 verses with the Satanist Lord barking death to Moses, the law of the Jews, and outsmarted by King James and Edward de Vere, he, the playwright William Shakespeare. How Skull and Bones, George Bush was the head of the CIA in the final stages of the New World Order. Before he became president, unaware Israel's Mossad had developed a plan to destroy all life on Earth. As you know, the president, that is Obama today, is another Skull and Bones member. His Bones man name is Undertaker. The West has been conned into purchasing nuclear reactors, which are today being used to kill all life, and along with Russia have established a plan to carry it out. Insanity or desperation? It's desperation. Their religion is totally against Jesus. The Talmud is without doubt the most vile religion ever devised by man, originating in Babylon, 500 BC. If there is any group on earth that is totally aware who I am and that I walked the earth as Jesus, was then and am now the Father, then it is that group. This you will not hear from any pulpit. Why? It was Bill Cooper who explained that when General Cornwallis was defeated by Washington, they met, and the details of what he told Washington was this: in 200 years, America will be regarded as the bastion of freedom, but unwittingly will be preaching the religion of the Jews. It can be viewed on YouTube, called The Regions of Saturn. The planet Saturn is the planet regarded to represent Satan. It is further out than Jupiter, which represents Jesus, being 88,800 miles wide. The Greek gematria for Jesus is 888. Then there's the link there to the video, YouTube. It's produced by an Australian dude. He did a really good job, just 10 minutes. Okay, Bill Cooper speaking. Now, the greatest secret the New World Order has covered up is that Christ is back. They embarked on two plans of attack. Firstly, a concerted effort to kill me. Since nothing worked, the attempts have become more extreme. The second was the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, the building of nuclear reactors worldwide, armed with software to destroy the operating systems. The space agencies have been watching the approach of Nibiru, which we have been observing for some years. The governments have been observing since World War II. At a given signal, the elite intend to hide underground in a vast system of bunker cities. Do you remember we were in Tugam when you first started to turn your attention to Nibiru? Because you forgot. I mean, we'd been asked so many times that it was everything else going on. He's saying, blah, blah, blah. And then when he turned his attention to it, In Toowoomba, yeah. He says, well, I forgot. And that's exactly what the stars overhead said. I forgot.
I just didn't want to talk.
Yeah, all right.
Not time.
Yes, and for all of you out there who are asking, when is it going to be over? He's not telling. Don't bother asking. Get on with your lives, refining yourselves, purging every area of your lives that need to be purged. Because I tell you this, nobody is safe. Absolutely nobody. We've had further evidence of that this week. If you're doing drugs, if you're drinking, if you're into any kind of immorality, forget it. You don't make it. Your angels know you can't fool them. You might fool yourselves for a while, and don't expect to be coming here or even invited here if you're walking in these filths. You've been given every opportunity. It's been years now, since 2006. For those of you who have been following Yah for years and you still haven't cleaned up life, you're working on very shaky ground. That was the whole point of Adam's interviews in the previous shows. If he is not safe, and he is our son, but he has the mind to defeat it all, overcome it and get it through. That is heart and mind, out of sheer love and devotion for Yahweh, for the two of us. All right. Moving right along. Once I found my wife, once I found him, they knew I was going to destroy them when my angels arrived on the planets with the red dwarf, Nibiru. Martha, my wife then and now. And here is on the screen the distance in time between January the 11th, 1944, Yah's rebirth date, and my rebirth date, Sunday, 19th of August, 1956, 4604 days, or 657 weeks and 5 days, and that is 12.60, so 1260 years. 657, of course, is the Lord New Testament verse count. 657 verses with the word Lord in it in the New Testament, and it's also the nuclear fusion rate of the sun. Many of you are already familiar with this. Now, the Great Pyramid step to the far wall of the King's Chamber is 537 pyramid inches. If you're listening to this, go over and watch the slideshow at the YouTube site or whatever, so you can see it in pickies. Now, my rebirth location directly south. So, Yah's rebirth location, 105 Rothschild Avenue, Sydney, Australia. Dropping straight down, so the point is in the ocean because the coastline falls away. And then hitting that latitude around the Earth that measures 31680 kilometres around the Earth at that latitude, and then straight across 537 kilometres, or is it miles? No, kilometres, is the house at Nell Street, Greensboro, the house he shared with Mary Magdalene for 13.13 years. So, hello, this is the dimension from the great step over to the far wall of the King's Chamber, 537. These are all holy numbers. And then measuring from the maternity ward at St. Margaret's Hospital to the South Pole is 3,877 miles, and that is the God verse total. So you've got the word God in 3,877 verses, but the total for the word God is actually 4,443, because there are several verses that have God in it more than once, might be even 3 times. God this, God that, God damn it. Okay, all right. Oh, wow, I scooted right along then. Here we go. So, now the Great Pyramid is 454.57 feet up to the rejected capstone. At the moment, it's just a summit platform where the rejected capstone isn't. So that is 454.57 feet, which is 5,449 pyramid inches. What does it all mean? Well, I think Yah mentioned in his previous slides, the one where he was doing them all on his own, the marriage date of his parents, Reg and Daphne, was Friday, July 1934, measuring the time until his conception. His conception into the womb of Daphne, immaculately conceived of the Holy Ghost, is 454.5712 weeks. Hello, that is 3,182 days. Did you just comprehend what I said? The height of the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt, it's all about him. It's all about the Christ. Round 1 and round 2, it's all him. The height, 454.57 feet, up to the rejected. He's rejected. He said it would be. There's Jesus. The stone the builders rejected has become the head of the, not corner, head of the pyramid. Word change. Great big whoop-de-doo there. And this diagram again is showing that 537 pyramid inches we discussed in the previous slide, and the width of the antechamber that we crawled through on October the 11th, 2013, as Yah was having 11 heart attacks, climbing the ascending passage through the Grand Gallery, and I'm pushing him along, taking videos as he's falling, got an elephant on his chest, climb through the antechamber, stand up in the middle of the antechamber, oh, look at the moss, look at this, look at the leaves, then down through the into the king's chamber, to lie in the king's coffer, where it is made to the measure of a man who is the Messiah, Salvator Mundi, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall. All right, the next slide. The Lord crushes the dragon serpent. That is what the 13th constellation of Phoeus is all about. It is the Lord himself crushing the serpent. Everything is written in the constellations, the stars, the sun, it's the distances of the sun, the moon, the stars. The witness of the Lord is in the heavens and the stars. Now, his conception date, April the 5th, 1943, April the 5th, the anniversary of the resurrection, Jerusalem time, April the 6th, Australian time, 2:22 a.m., still April the 5th in Jerusalem and the United Kingdom, GMT. So we've got measuring from Jupiter, because it is the Jesus planet, to Neptune and Saturn, the total is 34.69, and then you've got Saturn to Mercury, Mars, the total is 19.14, which is the Revelation, 1914. Then you've got Jupiter to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, total is 33.29, and Jupiter to Pluto, Mercury, Venus, the total is 42.82. Add Mercury and Venus, it's 9.91 astronomical units. So what does it all mean? All right. On the rebirth date of the Christ, January 11th, 1944, measuring from the Jesus planet Jupiter to the Sun, then Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, the total is 31.68 astronomical units. 3168 is Lord 800 plus Jesus 888 plus Christ 1480 in Greek gematria to total 3168. Do you follow what is being told to you and shown to you? Do you have ears to hear and eyes to see? Here we go. Jupiter 3168, the total distances on January the 11th, 1944. Now, Jupiter to the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, total 77.71 on January the 11th, 1944. So there's a 777, which was the age of Lamech in years, and the age difference between two daughters, stepdaughter and daughter in this life, 777 days or 2.127 years, yada, yada, yada. So, Ophiuchus is the 13th constellation predicted by Nostradamus. The Lord crushing the head of a serpent, his foot on the body of Scorpio, and an arrow from Sagittarius aimed at his heart. Now, The next slide is quoting Einstein, who was a Jew, but here's his famous quote: "I'm a Jew, but I am enthralled by the luminous figure of the Nazarene." Albert Einstein, Virich interview 1929, What Life Means to Einstein, goes on: "As a child I received instruction in the Bible and in the Talmud. I am a Jew, but I am enthralled by the luminous figure of the Nazarene. Jesus is too colossal." Colossal, that's a new word. Jesus is too colossal for the pen of phrasemongers, however artful. No man can dispose of Christianity with a bon mot. What he's saying is that nobody can dismiss Christianity, and they are trying like hell today. All the hordes of hell out there in your Aquarian, don't let me go on, Aquarian, New Age, Tantra, sex channeling, orgy-inspired. My God, we had contact, I'll tell you at the end of this, contact from... Do what thou wilt. Totally, they've fallen. It's judgment. It's judgment, and nobody likes to judge. Now, Einstein goes on: "No one can read the Gospels without feeling the actual presence of Jesus. His personality pulsates in every word. No myth is filled with such life." And he got it right. Truth resonates. Just better be looking in the right directions, because I tell you what, the world is so deceived, so deluded. Now, as for me, not me, you know him, I'm talking about him now, being God in the flesh. It's that, tea I had earlier. I remind you all, the world is doomed. Why did I, God, why did you, God, let it happen? This is what you get all the time, isn't it, babe? I am on the earth, not floating around in space. You do not believe. The Jews do, and know. They have to keep it from you, from finding out. We shall forbid Christ. Protocol number 14 from the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. They regard themselves as the self-chosen and as their rabbis, as God speaking, the elders themselves as God speaking. And after all, they killed me the last time. They secretly made themselves the very elite at the top, the self-chosen myth, but you all fell for it. They know I am back, and they are going to kill all life, because they cannot kill me a second time, and have been attempting to prevent me by firstly killing my mother, Daphne Golightly. She spent 13 months in hospital with kidney failure and was told to have no more children after my sister was born August 18th, 1938, that they did not have power over the Holy Ghost, the soul of God, which conceived immaculately in her on April the 5th, Jerusalem time, the 6th in Australia time. Now, after I was reborn on January 11th, 1944, in line with the planets at 31.68 astronomical units, and the sunrise to moonrise, Jesus, 888 minutes, they knew they were doomed. Over time, assassinations failed, and they realised their covert stranglehold on the masses were slowly being eroded away, loosing the earth and you as slaves. As of December 20th, 2006, I have been on the internet with videos. Ash phoned me, March the 31st, 2008, all calls monitored, and that was it. The Queen move was a checkmate. A decision was reached after many failed attempts to kill me. They have started the process to end the earth, as stated. So the meltdown of hundreds of nuclear plants are planned, and scientifically there is nothing to stop it. However, my proof is so astounding, they are convinced. Dates, planet distances, gematria, the following reveals Lord Jesus Christ. I'm just checking something out here. Do you know something?
Mm-hmm.
We've done this. We've already done this.
I was going to say that to you.
We have. We've already done.
We're supposed to start
bloody
184.
184. I thought I saved this from 184 out as Daphne. You know, without the rest of it.
You're having severe deja vu.
Shall we leave it? Like, a bit of revision for them and just continue? There's only 30 odd slides in the next slide. No.
Start from where you got out and chop it from there.
Yes, all right. Okay.
Well, just go to now to 184.
I've got it. Yeah. All right, 184.
I've got the idea, so.
Yeah, I've got the idea. I've
I
totally
didn't
got.
have the heart to
Oh,
tell you
babe,
about
look,
it.
I'm sure I've done this.
You were having such a good time.
I was, Tony.
I've
I'm
also
really.
done it.
Yes, you've done it. Driving the point home. All right, skipping right along to slide 184. There he is, the image over the Shroud of Turin.
Now, the number 184 in Hebrew is to point out.
Oh my goodness gracious, thank you, darling. I kept getting this. No, all right. Okay, so skipping right along to Daphne Golightly is why I called this Daphne. The next one coming after this is Pauline. All right, Daphne Golightly was conceived on January the 5th, 1912 at 5:33 a.m. The distance to the sun was 5.37 astronomical units, and the difference to Mercury was the same, 5.37 AU. So this is good because it set up the 537 into the, and I had a bit of a rant, a bit of a mother slapping, recalcitrant children around going, what's wrong with you? Don't you get it yet? It remained at that distance for 489 minutes, the distance from Jupiter to the I was about to say children planets, distance to the visible planet Saturn to the Sun. Total 43.3. 433 is the deity, God. The moon moved 180 kilometres in. Here's what we were trying to think of yesterday. 10800 seconds, or 22.08 minutes, and that leads to the revelation 22.228, which is quoting, "And I, John, saw these things and heard them, and when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things." Now, my grandfather Golightly was born on June the 5th, 1880. He was 23,229 days old when I was reborn on January 11th, 1944. 1880 is come again. Luke 10:35, and on the morrow when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more when I come again, I will repay thee. Come, Greek Dictionary 1880, from 1909 and 424 to come up on, that is return, come again, return. On Tahiti, Lieutenant Cook discovered a pyramid half the size of a football field. The base measured 23,229 square feet. It had 11 layers. The natives had no knowledge who built it. Some years later, the English sent a crew to destroy it. Cook was in Tahiti following the discoverer, Captain Wallace, who used a Harrison longitude clock. Cook noted in his ship's log his longitudes were accurate.
He also arrived 666
Days. Right. He had marked out the square of the island, the 4 sides measuring 104.3 nautical miles, and 104.3 is Gabriel in Greek. The highest mountain is the same number as the Shroud of Turin area, which is 7353. So that's how high it was, and that square inches is the Shroud of Turin in feet. Yeah, right. So it was 267 feet by 187 feet is 23229, and is the days, which is 63.6 years between my grandfather and I. In square pyramid feet, so it's slightly different to regular feet, British feet, it is godliness. So in pyramid feet it is 23,179. 2317 is godliness. And here is the slide. 87 times 267 is 23229 equals Golightly, Brian, and a reference to Isaiah in year 63.6. Isaiah 63 verse 6. So moving right along to the Revelation verse 9, after we read verse 8 3 slides ago. Then saith he unto me, See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. John had mistaken the angel Michael for Jesus himself. The woman of Revelation, the dragon of the Torah, Lucifer, was attempting to kill her baby, and she herself was my mother Daphne. She, like the mother of Mary, Anna, had also conceived of the Holy Ghost to bring forth herself, conceiving myself of the Holy Ghost, the soul of Yahweh, the Father, who as the Creator cannot have a father. The conception date of Daphne was January the 5th, 1912, when the duration over Sydney for Mercury rise at 3:41 and a set at 17:38 equals 837 minutes, and the sun 4:52 rise and 1912 set for 860 minutes. Add the two together equals 1697, and in Hebrew is the word. He is the word of God. Isaiah 66:5. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. 1697. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. There it is, Hebrew Dictionary, 1697 from 1696, a word. So we've got another diagram here. Next slide. The pyramid height of 5,813 pyramid inches, and the width of the antechamber is 58.13 pyramid inches times 2 equals 116.26, and the antechamber is the genetic key to the house of David in days, weeks and years, the distance in time between members of the household of the Christ. In weeks, 1162.6 weeks equals 8138 days. Now we've got Jupiter to the Sun 5.37, Jupiter to Mercury 5.37, so this is all at the conception date of Daphne. Mercury remained at 5.37 from 5:33 to 13:42, a total of 489 minutes. The moon distance to the Earth was 363,325 kilometres and moved around to 363,505 kilometres, an increase of 180 kilometres, and this is 22.08589 kilometres per minute, and that leads to Revelation that we just read, 22:8 and 9, the verses. So the moonrise to moonset, this is all on Daphne's conception day, 520 minutes, is the word cubit, the mother, this is who we're talking about, the mother of God, once again, Daphne Golightly, mother measure. Christ is found in 522 verses, this is in the King James 1611, only 555 occasions. The number 522 is from 520 and is Amma, the same as 520, which is mother. And there it all is. What a ripping yarn. It just gets better and better. Note the time, the moonrise, 2014, and set 520 minutes later at 4:54. There's the height of the pyramid up to the rejected capstone, 454.57 feet, and the time from the marriage of Reg and Daphne to conception of the Christ. 0.57 weeks. Oops, I did it again. Okay, Daphne Golightly conception. Now here are the measure from Jupiter to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars and Saturn, a total 43.3. There's your God number again. And then Jupiter 537 and Mercury 5.37 astronomical units. The
2537.
yes, 25.37 astronomical units, and there it all is again explained. The antechamber, the king's chamber, from the grand step to the far wall. So it was a full moon, and the distance to the Earth, right, 363,506 kilometres, 3:5, Aramaic corresponding to 3:6, 3:4, to complete, finish, make, set up. All rather wonderful.
Game, set and match.
As in a game of tennis. Lob one over, you lob one back. Here it is, another diagram. Sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset. Here's the diagram. In years, the marriage date to conception date, 8.712 years, or the 454, and 4 days in weeks. Here's the diagram of the Great Pyramid. This is all so amazing. Take your time over these when you go over to the YouTube site. A lot of you have already studied these. The height of the king's chamber floor above the base of the pyramid. Okay, so listen to this. The height of the king's chamber floor above the base of the pyramid is 1,699.8111 pyramid inches, or 1,701.6128 British inches. Subtract from the summit platform, the rejected capstone is 454.57142 feet minus 1,701.6128 inches, which is 148.80106 feet.
Love it.
Is 312.77036.
So the two numbers important there, what are they? 3112.
Yes, 312 and 7703. Now, this is all... now, because this leads on, you've already mentioned this in your other upload, didn't you, from yesterday, the long one? Yeah. The measuring from Port Alberni.
That's right.
Yeah, the home on Rex and Regina. The second home that you built.
The point I was trying to make there is that this is a memory.
Yes.
I memorise bits and then I do the next day, I do something else and it comes up the same number.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
So it's memory.
Yeah. Okay, now adjoining Port Alberni is Alberni. I built a house on Rex and Regina, and it is 7,703 miles to my rebirth home until you lived there at the rebirth home until you were 942 days old, which is the Jesus first total number in the New Testament. 1701 is
Also, how many verses
mocking.
are in First Chronicles?
Yes, and the age difference between Mary and myself.
And my sister-in-law is 9.42 years old.
Yes.
Whereas my brother was 8.88 years old.
Yeah. Now, that leads us
Apart
to
from that, it's all rubbish.
Mark 15:31. Likewise, also the chief priests, mocking, said among themselves with the scribes, "He saved others, himself he cannot save." Verse 32, "Let Christ, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe." And they that were crucified with him reviled him. All but one. Matthew 27:41. Likewise also the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, "He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him." 43. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, "I am the Son of God." Working, so moving right along to this life, working every spare moment without the slightest help from my wife, this is wife number one, Eileen. She was so lazy and disinterested, she would not drive the 1.32 kilometres to see it, the house he was building, let alone give me any help. That is, until it was finished, and she wanted to pick the carpet. I then told her the home would never be where she would live. I sold it. This is the measure from that home on Rex and Regina to 105 Rothschild Avenue, Sydney, Australia, Rosebery, Sydney, Australia, 7703.1 miles.
Location.
What's that, babe?
My birth.
Rebirth location, the rebirth location of the Christ. Here it is. This is the 3112, the 312.77036 feet to the summit of 454.57142 feet. 312 is Revelation 3:12, which talks about the new name. I will have a new name. And is the English gematria for Brian, Leonard, Golightly, Marshall. Add them all together equals 312. So the great big clue is in the number of the verse. It's saying my new name, and it's got a total 312 at the time of the end in English gematria. The book within the book of the numbers. So the distance to the North Pole from Rex and Regina, Alberni is 2,814 miles from 2806, a limb or shoot, as if broken off branch, leading to John 1 verses... Oh, that should be 1 John, I think, 15:9. No,
No, it's John 15.
John... Okay, John 15:9. That's not...
Read it.
All right, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now, as Adam was talking to us during his interviewing, well, of his being cast away, etc., was to purge him so that he would bear more fruit. And they're the words, Adam hasn't read these verses, he just chose that word because it described what he knew was happening to him. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. He is the vine, we are the branches. And he was talking to the few that were in front of him at the time. The distance to the North Pole from Rex and Regina, Alberni, is 2814 miles from 2806, and here it is, a branch leading to those verses that we just read. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. And this is what Adam said today as we went for a walk. He said, I knew when I was in Sydney, I was cut off from God, which is death. That's what he felt. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall ye be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. Now the next slide is from Rex Regina to my first wife, the harlot of Lithgow. She is representative of the depth of evil I experienced and the suffering she caused me in destroying my children, rejecting God, their Father. And there's a quote from Zephaniah 1:15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Hebrew Dictionary 7722, and that is the distance measured to where Eileen was born or grew up in Newbeck Street, Lisdale, and the Rex Regina Alberni home. And this is exactly what it was. 7722, meaning to rush over, a tempest, by implication devastation, desolate, desolation, destroy, destruction, storm, wasteness. That's what she did. That's what your experience was with her. There it is there. magnified in the next slide. Now, these are back to Daphne, the woman in the Revelation, January the 5th, her conception date 1912. And here are the times of the sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset throughout the week before and after her conception date. So, moving over to January the 11th, 1944, the rebirth date of the Christ, the sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset. They total, sunrise to moonrise, 888 minutes. The summit platform of 455 feet is Revelation 1910, conception 1943, Christ found in 522 verses there beside those numbers that you see. Daphne Golightly conceived on January 5th, 1912 at 5:33. Oh, this is a repeat. All right, we'll say it again. Revision. The distance to the Sun was 5.37 astronomical units and the distance to Mercury was the same. It remained at that distance for 489 minutes. You can slow it down, reread it again, really get it in. And here is the Revelation 22:08. And I, John, saw these things. So these are the verses that, the previous slide was referring to with the times of the sunrise, sunset there. Revelation 22:08, and I, John, saw these things and heard them, and when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Revelation 19:10, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus worship God. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Understand this, as the Comforter, Yahweh in the flesh, as Jesus I warned the Father would come and judge the world. It is clear by my creative skills that the Jews of the world are not Jews, and reject me, as do almost all Christians and Muslims. Now, at 9:38:18 a.m. Sydney, it is the midpoint of the 489 minutes that Mercury was at the distance of 5.37 astronomical units. The distance to Jupiter, when Jupiter to the Sun was also at 5.37. So it's that mid-time, 489 minutes, halfway mid-time, is 9:38 a.m. Sydney time. Greek 938, feminine from 936. Queen 936 is king. So we're talking about Daphne. She was the true queen and her husband the king. Daphne would give birth after 55.5 hours of labour at 2:22 a.m. The moon, therefore, was 8565 nautical miles to the maternity ward where I was reborn. Hebrew 8565, Tan, a monster, that is a sea serpent or other huge marine animal or other hideous land animal. Dragon.
Just one slight correction.
Yes?
She was giving birth to the king. She wasn't married to the king.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, Daphne. Well, yeah, right. Reg. He was the dude.
Well,
Yeah,
was
she was.
royal, but
He was
wasn't the
royal.
king.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Yeah. So, Daphne was the queen giving birth to the king. God in the
It's
flesh.
whole point, isn't
It is. No,
it?
totally.
Let me bag in the run.
What's that? Say it again?
So I might as well pack my bag and go home otherwise.
No, babe, don't do that. All right. So what have we got? We've got Isaiah 27, verse 1. Let's start again. Isaiah chapter 27, verse 1. In that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. So dragon is the Hebrew word 8577, or Ezekiel 29:3, intensive from the same as 8565, a marine or land monster, sea serpent or jackal, dragon, sea monster, serpent, whale. So here it is, 8565 nautical miles to the maternity ward. This is where the moon was on that date in time, midpoint. And the maternity ward, 3877 miles to the South Pole, is again the number of verses with the word God in them, 3877. Now this is Julian Day. So when all this was happening, it was Julian Day 241-9406.4849. The midpoint of Mercury at a distance of 5.37 astronomical units from Jupiter, Sydney time 9:38:18 seconds a.m. In Greek, 938 is Queen, from 936 King, which of course is the Christ. The distance is Dragon 8565. So this is later because, we're talking about Daphne's conception date. So the king comes later. She gives birth to the king much later on. Yeah. All right. We've already covered the 454 weeks and the height of the pyramid. It was all rather wonderful. So the distance to my rebirth home from the moon position at Julian Day number 2431100.18194. So is that the time that she went into labour? Is that the time that she went into?
I nodded off.
Oh, you did. You nodded off. Well, or is that the moment of your rebirth? That's what I wanted to ask.
What was the question?
The 2431100.18194. Your Julian day of rebirth is 31101. So is this when she? No, it's not when she went into labour. It's just at the moment.
It's all in front of you there. Just keep reading.
Okay, it's a distance of 6918 kilometres, and to the solar eclipse January the 25th, 1944, which is 8888.8 miles, to this home is 4845.8 nautical miles. Daniel 8:13, then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? Saint Hebrew Dictionary 6918 from 6942, sacred, ceremonial, morally, as noun, God by eminence, an angel, a saint, a sanctuary.
It's the midpoint
holy
of
one.
537. Carry on. Just keep reading.
Right, what have we got here? Looking at this is the Julian day of your rebirth, January 11th, 1944. And the location of the moon from the solar eclipse that occurred on 25th of January, which was the 8888.8. And the distance to your rebirth from where the moon is 6918 kilometres,
Right.
4845.8 nautical miles from the pyramid to where the moon was. Yeah, okay. 3875 miles, that's where your home is, to the South Pole, which is the word comforter. Then we're looking at the latitude 20.31 north, 2031, and is Greek for word. Can't get out of it, babe.
That's the moon. Now, just explain that when you are measuring the moon's position over the Earth, if you should draw a line through the centre of the moon to the centre of the Earth, where it goes through the surface of the Earth, that's its latitude and longitude.
Okay,
It's not up in the sky. It's
No,
a
it's straight
line
through
where
the
it passes
centre.
through the Earth.
okay. Here we go. Now, this is the last of this lovely PowerPoint. And Christ is saying, I am here to save the children from the monsters who reject me and kill children in wars instigated by the Zionist Jews. There will be no reprieve, no appeal. I am the judge. The sentence is death. The angels are my reapers. You have been warned repeatedly. Time is up. As for you Christians, you are worse than the Jews, crying, look what we have done in your name. Sorry, wrong Jesus. Once the children are saved from you, then I will have the foundation to create many mansions throughout the universes and will rule all with a rod of iron. For the saved, your reward is with me.